Marine veteran Justin Constantine was shot in the face in 2006 as he was serving as a civil affairs team leader in Iraq. Today, he talks about getting massive facial reconstruction, and with the support of his then-girlfriend Dahlia at his bedside, he healed from his injuries. He married Dahlia and started the next chapter of his life back in the States, but was plagued with another set of symptoms.
Not being able to fall asleep at night, or when I do fall asleep, then having nightmares. You got road rage, or easily irritated sometimes, things I can't control.
Constantine suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. He says when he was well enough, he collected his medical documents and wrote down a detailed account of what happened to him during combat.
In my case, I was awarded a Purple Heart for what happened, and also Combat Action Ribbon, and it's pretty evident. As good looking as I am now, I didn't look this way 3 years ago, so it was very evident from the doctor's reports that something significant had happened.
After 1 year, the Department of Veterans Affairs diagnosed him with combat-related PTSD and granted him access to benefits for the illness.
So maybe the corpsman who saved my life there and saw what I look like with my head blown apart, he didn't suffer a physical injury, but certainly he has PTSD, but he doesn't have the trigger that I had or the connection I had to make it automatic.
The application process took 10 years for a former Vietnam War platoon leader who wished not to be named. He met me at Georgetown University to talk about his meticulous record keeping and appeals to the VA for his PTSD-related benefits.
Absolutely not.
What made you keep
I'm
going?
stubborn.
Okay.
I'm going to show them. I'm going to make them do their job.
On July 13, 2010, the VA simplified the process for veterans. What is your personal reaction to this change?
I thought it was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Secretary Shinseki is not only one of the brightest guys I've ever run into, but he's also one of the most caring people that I've ever run into.
Those seeking benefits no longer have to have the burden of proof that the PTSD came from a specific incident on the battlefield. VA Secretary General Eric Shinseki elaborates on the changes to student veterans at Georgetown University.
This is not just about Iraq and Afghanistan. PTSD is a generational issue, and we aim to get it right for every generation who has gone to war for this country, and for all future generations who will deploy on missions unknown today.
Combat-related PTSD specifically, all people will need is to show that they were, in fact, deployed to a combat area.
And veterans and their families say the change has been long overdue.
I'm sad that it took so long for it to happen, but I think as a society we still have a lot of shame and taboo surrounding issues of mental health, even though the brain and heart are part of the body and what they feel is just like a leg or an arm. So I'm glad to see it become so easier. And obviously in the military environment is much more macho than the average American society, and talking about your problems or your feelings isn't supported. I'm sure it's going to take a couple of years for things to go a lot more seamlessly and smoothly, but at least the policy, the message going out to the public now is that people should seek help.
Secretary Shinseki says the VA has devoted more resources to mental health care when President Obama and Congress approved a $114 billion budget for the VA in 2010. That's a 16% increase to the budget the year before. Marine veteran Brian Drayton says his PTSD diagnosis and benefits process took less than 6 months when he started on May 12, 2010.
What's your life like right now? I mean, what do you do?
I'm working again. I've been working as an electrician's apprentice for about a month and a half now. My first job since 2009.
Mm-hmm.
That's stressful. If I didn't have my medication, I probably wouldn't be working there.
Those with post-traumatic stress disorder should not hesitate to seek help through the VA. Raymond Crook, a Cold War veteran, found out the hard way.
Yes, I think it has stopped me from going through the last decade of hell, pure hell, of the dreams, the nightmares, and not knowing.
He finally turned to the VA after reaching the brink of suicide in August 2009.
The VA is doing a fine job. I hope that they begin to start debriefing guys. 60 days and let them get psychiatric evaluation. before they let them out, you know, because just like a guy like me, they just let me out, you know what I mean? And it wasn't just their fault, they just didn't know.
He says all veterans should take the time to apply for their PTSD-related benefits. Air Force veteran Dave Sharp also went through the VA process recently and said it took him 4 months for the VA to give him benefits for PTSD. And all along he was coping on his own, and one positive resource he had was the bond with his pit bull.
And she turns out to be my savior, who saved me from several instances where I never thought I would ever survive.
The VA is very helpful for me. I'm also lucky enough to have a loving wife and daughter, so they're a real good resource for me.
James Day applied for PTSD benefits right after 4 years of service this May. Day says he wanted to be a good parent and husband, and that's what motivated him to go through the VA process right away. He wants others suffering from PTSD to know that there's no need to hesitate to reach out for help.
We all serve together. We're brothers and sisters. Really, there shouldn't be a reason why you shouldn't go and get help. I mean, if you were pinned down the firefight, you wouldn't try to just take them all on your own, would you? You'd call for help. There's no reason why right now, just because you can't see the enemy, doesn't mean that your brothers and sisters can't help you fight it.
At Georgetown University, I'm Elizabeth Gia.